All right, well, I hope you had a fantastic weekend. So, in today's quick episode, we're going to look at the Bitcoin price. It's pretty boring at the moment with Bitcoin, with altcoins, but that's the thing. That's the time when, not financial advice. Please read the disclaimer below. Could lose money. Most people lose their money in crypto, get absolutely wrecked. But having said that, when it's boring, especially right now, the last few weeks, couple of months, people are getting so disinterested in crypto and altcoins. People panic selling. There's a lot of FUD at the moment. And even if we go over to CoinMarketCap, I was just checking out this. I like the Fear and Greed Index. As you can see, right now we're back in the fear. So when it's moments like this, that's when I like to dollar cost average into the positions that I'm already in. Fill up my bags with altcoins. It's not easy when you see things, psychologically it's not easy when you see things are down, but there's just so much FUD, there's so much fear in the market, people panic selling. Me being in the space now for a good few years, this is an opportunity to jump in, because things can happen so fast in crypto with Bitcoin. Before you know it, March, April comes along and we could easily pop up to 150 to 200,000 with Bitcoin, and then the altcoins are going to absolutely rip to the upside, and most people are going to be left out. That's the truth. That's what's going to happen. Most people will lose money or just miss out, or when they see things pop into the upside, they start jumping in to altcoins which are already done a 10-20x, and it's too late. So while things are fearful, that's the time where I'll be buying up more. I was looking at this, it's quite interesting. If we go back to 2023, when we were back in the orange of the fear, the Bitcoin's price was around 25,000 per Bitcoin. And of course, we came all the way up to 70K after that. Before that, it was at the end, it was July 2023, we came up to 43K, and then towards October of last year, we came up to 68, 70,000, and then back in 2024, so that was not last year, that was 2024 of October, and then we came back into the orange section here, where we came all the way down to like 56, 57,000, and then we came all the way back up to 100,000. So we can see even though we've had this fear and the greed index, 25 to 60, back down to 50 to 100,000. And what's interesting is we're back in the fear, but we're touching 100K, six figures again. So this thing, when it was at 25,000 with fear, then we popped to the upside pretty quick. We doubled. We did come back down to that 60, 50,000. We didn't come all the way back down to 25K, and then we doubled again. We went from 50, 60,000 all the way up to 108,000. So right now we're sitting again at 100,000. So could we see a doubling in the price anytime soon? I think we could easily pop up to 150,000. I think that's being conservative, but I would not be surprised within the next few months where we just absolutely pop up all the way up to 200, 250,000. It would not surprise me the slightest, seeing the past cycles. And I'm not sitting here and saying we're definitely going to that. We could, if I'm being objective, we could drop all the way down. The bear market could happen today, tomorrow, but I don't think so. Just my opinion only. I think we've still got another leg up to the upside before we go back into a bear market. So let's see where Bitcoin goes in the short term. It's going to be interesting now over the next few months to see if we've formed this double top here, and that's it, was 108,000 the top. This could be a possibility. A double top could be a possibility, but we're holding up pretty well. If you look at the lower time frames of the daily and the 4-hourly candles, we've been holding up pretty well. We're around that six-figure digit. We haven't tanked down to the downside, and Bitcoin continues. Since November, we have just been stuck in this boring channel, but that's when it's boring, that's the time to jump in. So I don't understand this panic, people jumping out. Bitcoin has remained stable. It's consolidating, which is a good sign for me for the next leg up. So it's consolidating. It's another step up to the upside, similar to last year, where this thing just went on and on and on. the accumulation phase for Bitcoin for about 6 to 8 months, and then in October we popped up all the way up to our 6-figure digit. So yeah, it's not easy, especially when things are boring, but boring is where you make the money, because you should be dollar cost averaging into whatever positions you're in at this moment. So looking at the lower time frames, I haven't really seen much in the 1 hour, 4 hour. I don't really do a lot of trading anyway, but maybe you have. Let me know in the comments section below if you've seen any good trade setups. I need to have a look. Yeah, I need to examine the lower time frames a bit more to see if I can jump into a nice Bitcoin long position, because I still think we've got about 8 to 10 weeks left of this first part, well, this parabolic stage. May is usually a bad month, and then let's see if we're going to have an extended bull run come the end of this year. So we're holding up pretty well. Worst case scenario is we drop down to 91k. Hopefully we get a bounce off this if we do come lower, but we're holding up really well. If we do drop below that zone, then that's the possibility where we could go a lot lower, back down to these levels of like 70 to 80,000 US dollars, and we do have that CME gap all the way down there. So Bitcoin is holding up. The rest of the space, the altcoins, of course, as you know, have bled out like 30-50%. But what's interesting right now is it looks like maybe we've topped out at 64% of the Bitcoin dominance when we had that huge dump in the market, especially with the altcoins. Now, I'm not going to call it a huge dump with Bitcoin. I mean, we dropped from 108 down to 90 something, and we've just held the $100,000 mark. So it looks like, hopefully now, with the Bitcoin dominance, if you're loading up, stacking up your altcoins, then now is the time, because when we do drop into the 50% range, the 40% range for the Bitcoin dominance, it'll be too late. So for me, AI crypto, gaming crypto, I've got my positions. If I'm going to dollar cost average into anything, I'm happy with the crypto I have right now. I don't necessarily want to dollar cost average anymore for this cycle, because the longer the cycle goes on, the more money I put in, then the riskier it gets as we go into this year. I mean, it could be the end with this cycle within the next 4 to 8 weeks. We could go on towards the end of the year, but whatever. My plan is I'm happy with what I've got, so let's see what happens now with the Bitcoin dominance. When this thing comes down, again, I'm happy with what I have, and hopefully I can do a nice 10 to 20x with my portfolio. So if you're not into crypto at this moment, or if you're dollar cost averaging, now is still a good time to do so, because the dominance is so high. The rest of the space is really low. If you look at some of these top projects, top 10, top 20 projects, we haven't really had a massive crypto season, altcoin season just yet. We've had altcoin rallies, but we haven't had a major altcoin season. And why I say this, you just have to zoom back out. And I mean, we had an altcoin rally here when we dropped from 61% down to 55. But what I'm talking about is an altcoin season like this, when we go from 70 odd percent, we just dropped all the way down to 40%. So we came down 30% with the dominance, and this is when the altcoins absolutely, I remember this, tanked to the upside. Some people making 20x, 30x returns, in some cases with the lower micro cap coins, 100x, which is a bit more dangerous because you don't know which ones. And back then there was way less cryptocurrencies. Now there's over 11 million cryptocurrencies. Back then, not as many as we see today. So that's why I'm saying, yeah, the categories, very important. AI is probably going to be the catalyst, and gaming will always be around, but AI for me will be a big player in the space when the dominance, similar to this, comes all the way down, hopefully to these 3 levels that I have here. But let me know in the comments section below where you think we are in the timeline of this crypto bull run. If you think it's still on, if you think it's over, which cryptocurrencies you're jumping into right now. Give me a top 5 list of cryptocurrencies that you think will do a potential 5, 10x, maybe even more. All right, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you with another video very soon. So thanks again for sticking to the end, and see you next time. Bye bye.